It's time to get real with Lady Ray. Yeah, real talk, real conversation. Real people, real answers. Real talk, real conversation. So let's get real with Lady Ray.
Why this topic? Well, maybe like me, you wonder, does your degree automatically put you in a position to earn respect? Does your designation by default warrant respect? Does your appointment into a position of authority sequentially demand my respect? Joining me to speak around this thought is Mr. Keenan Paulson. He is the author of the book, How to Win Before You Begin, a book that encourages self-awareness, personal mastery, and aims to have its readers achieve a level of self-actualization. Good evening, Mr. Paulson, and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Lady Ray. Thank you for the invitation, and congratulations on your show.
Thank you.
Everything that you've done so far has been done with excellence, and I'm only looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you so much. So before we get into the conversation of what many would say is a matter of opinion, tell us a little bit about Mr. Keenan Paulson.
Thanks so much for the introduction. For my vocation, I work at the PPS Academy, and this academy is strategically positioned to personalize strategy for the PPS group. And PPS is a financial services company dedicated to serving professionals with a qualifying 4-year degree. So you could literally be, you could be a millionaire, have R1 million in your bank account, and not have a qualifying degree. And for our insurance products, you'd not be eligible for that. For our investments products, you will be eligible. In my discretionary time, I spend time serving and leading a movement called Resolute Man, in conjunction with other leaders. But Resolute Man exists to make South Africa safer for our women and children. And we do that by prioritizing the psychological and physical and emotional health and wellness of men, because women are not abusing other women. Women are not raping other women. It's the men. Okay. And so if we are such an inherent part of the problem as men, we definitely need to be a part of the solution. Okay. And that's where Resolute Man fits in. On the weekends and early mornings before work, you can potentially find me on my bike, cycling out in Mulder's Drift. You could find me running, and quite recently I started swimming as well. So yeah,
I smell an Iron Man bug.
You're on to me. Yeah, in 2022, I plan on completing an Ironman injury-free.
If you'd like to stay up to date with what's happening on this channel, please click the notifications icon. Remember to subscribe. If you're enjoying the conversation, leave your likes and comments. If you think somebody else will enjoy this conversation, please do share this link with everyone you know. Many of you may have found yourself making the statement, respect is earned, it's not deserved. Do you really believe that? Or is respect given purely because somebody has a title? To better phrase it, does a title automatically earn you respect? So, there are 3 categories of respect, or so that's what scholars say. There's human recognition, status recognition, and appraisal recognition. So before we get into the conversation, I always prefer for us to get definitions and understandings of what we're actually discussing. So can you maybe define for us your view or your perception of what you think respect is? And based on the 3 that I've mentioned, how do we engage with these different types of respect in our daily lives?
Awesome. So if we go to the dictionary tells us that respect is a deep sense of admiration that we give to somebody based on either characteristics or attributes or some sort of physical thing that they have or portray to have.
Okay.
And I like to also think about respect as a form or a flavor of love.
I like that
In the
one.
same way that Fanta has got pineapple and grape and orange, of course, I think love has got different flavors, and so we can show up respecting, and we can show up caring, and we can show up correcting, all different flavors of this idea and very broad concept called love.
Yeah.
Favor is also, I'm saying favor, respect is so closely linked to honor,
Okay, I like that one.
I believe. And when we start speaking about honor, we start bringing in concepts like authority
Okay.
and order. So yeah, let's talk around those concepts, but let's believe that respect is, it's given to somebody or someone or something that we believe we either esteem
Okay.
to reach, we aspire to be like them, or we aspire to have what they have.
Yeah.
It deeply connects to our value system and what we believe is important in life.
Yes. So to backtrack, you made a statement where you used the word love and respect simultaneously to one another. Do you think that it's impossible, and I use the word impossible, knowing its full meaning, for somebody to love somebody if they don't respect them?
Let's think about this. In the statement, I love you,
Yeah.
society tells us that the love is about the you. The subject is you.
Yes.
So the love that I give is about you. But if you assess that statement, the love says more about the I than it is about the you. And so what we start doing in that statement, let's take love out, let's put respect. I respect you. We start putting some conditions in place. You know, I respect you, filter, because you have what I like. I respect you because I want approval from you. I respect you because, people are watching me. I respect you, insert whatever filter, whatever value system you subscribe, you are subscribing to at that moment in time. Is it possible to respect someone that you don't love? I think it's more about you than it is about the person that you love. I think the question is really, do you have respect for yourself? And can you extend that to anybody you meet?
I'm going to pause you there because you're going to answer something that we're going to speak about a little later that links to your book. So I liked that statement about the fact that you can't respect or love unless it's about you. We're going to delve into that one just now. I like that one. I want to make a statement by Salman Rushdie. I quote, "Respect for religion has become a code phrase meaning fear of religion. Religions, like all other ideas, deserve criticism, satire, and yes, our fearless disrespect." Unquote. My purpose for using that quote is to ask this. In your opinion, where do the lines of respect end and fear start? Because if you look at this quote, religion, like many other things, I've gravitated towards religion because it's something that most of us have in common. Sometimes we subscribe to certain things and we say it's respect, but it's actually fear. So what do you think, or where do you think the lines start and end in terms of this is up until I respect you and I'm no longer respecting you, I now fear you?
That's an interesting one. And just to build a context on my previous answer, it is more about the I. So I fear you when, when the thing that I'm needing from you, I'm either not getting, or the conditions and the hoops that you are setting for me to attain this thing becomes too high.
Yeah.
Let's not speak so hypothetical. Let's take the scenario of the employer you work for. I work for a company. My company pays me a salary. I have a boss. My boss is the authority over me that I need to honor. When I honor my boss, when I do the things that my boss asks me to do, of course, within the bounds of ethical work, I get this reward.
Yeah.
I want more from my boss. I want more from my boss. Okay, great. I start doing more. I start giving more. I start respect. I'm generous with my time, my talent, my blah, blah, blah. Now my boss comes in and says, I recognize this transaction. And I recognize Keenan's willingness to be generous. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to raise the bar a little bit. And all of a sudden I start feeling and thinking, sure, I used to get, but now I must do more to get. And it really is about my boss now bringing in, and if I could just stop at this junction and say, I've probably got the best boss ever.
Why? Why?
My boss loves me. My boss cares about
Is this for TV?
Can I tell you something? Go onto my Instagram, phone me at any time, ask anyone I know. Yeah, don't listen to me. Ask people that know me and that know my boss. My boss loves me, okay?
Do you respect him or fear him, Keenan?
You know what? I love him.
Nice choice of words.
I love him. And, okay, so we're backtracking, right? So my boss now sees this and says, I can get more from Keenan than I used to get, because now it can be a tool for manipulation, because we're actually speaking about influencing one another.
Yeah.
And so fear comes in when I am so scared of not getting.
Yes.
Again, it is about the I. Fear is not put on you. Fear is something that you choose. So I become afraid when I don't get what I want, or what I'm used to getting, or when the transaction is no longer serving me. You know, this respect given, respect received. When that thing's no longer serving me, and I'm scared of loss, when our limbic systems are activated, you know, threat is introduced, and you know, it's fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
And now we're introducing fear as well.
So the Latin root word spect, which gives us the word spectacle, spectator, means to see.
Yes.
So the word respect is also formed by that root word. So it means to see me correctly. So respect would mean see me as a person, see me correctly.
So beautiful.
So would we say it's safe to say that when we say my child respects me, chances are they don't really respect me, they fear the discipline. When you say you respect your boss, like you just implied, maybe I don't really respect my boss, I fear the fact that I can lose my salary. We respect the law? No, maybe I just fear the fact that they can lock me up. So it's an exchange because it's a transaction. So I like the way you just explained that, and it just fed into what the word respect actually means. Because if you see somebody right and you don't see them as a means of what I can get from you, it's easier to respect them because it's not a business transaction. It's like I see you in the capacity of who you are.
Yes.
Wow.
That's the problem that we are finding in society right now.
Yeah.
Because, and forgive the generalization, but I want to make this point. When men look at women, what do they see? They see an object. They see, you know, some sort of badge of honor to go back to the boys and say, you know, I conquered her. I actually heard that from somebody. I conquered her.
Wow.
Is a woman something to be conquered? That is so telling of how that individual sees a woman. And so we are advocating for seeing women as equal to men, you know. We are seeing women as a part of a contributor in society that's currently being disempowered. So we are seeing in women the need to be empowered.
Yeah. So I think if we speak a little bit onto that point, is like I think sometimes we use the statement respect so loosely, but if we tie it up to the root word, like we just mentioned now, and we're speaking into what you spoke about, if you see a woman right, you see her more than just a sex object. When you say I respect a woman, you're seeing her in her capacity for who she is, in her full capacity, more than just a sex object. Because I think if a man sees a woman just in terms of I'm able to conquer her, you're not really respecting her. You're seeing her in one facet in terms of pleasure. So respect is holistic because I see you in your full capacity as a person.
Yes.
So you are a facilitator of behavioral skills. Would you say that respect is a behavioral skill, or is it something that is supposed to be innate inside of every human being?
It's definitely a behavioral skill. We like to say that things may start out with desire. I have the desire to show, you know, more respect. It can't stay in the realm of desire. It has to move into the sphere of discipline.
Okay.
I do it because I know that this is what is required of me to do. Not only I want to do it, it's, I'm hoping to get there. It is...
Say that statement again for me. Sorry, I got stuck on that one. Something about it's a desire.
Yeah, we can't stay in the realm of desire. We may start there.
Yeah.
Let's use the metaphor of gymming. Oh, I've got the desire to lose weight.
Yes.
Let me start running. Let me start cycling. Yeah, we can't stay there.
Yes.
We have to move from desire to discipline, saying, cycling is what I do to stay in shape.
Yes.
Respect is what I do. It's who I am. It's what's required of me to contribute to society in a positive way to make sure things are running in an orderly fashion. Because how disorderly is it for us to show disrespect to people? Kind of off camera early on, if I may share, I'm not sure, you'll cut this out if it's not working for you. But we were speaking about the traffic officer at the traffic light.
Yes.
It's disorderly for the cars at the robot not to respect his authority. Because his purpose there is to guide and direct traffic to avoid chaos and to bring order,
So to pause you on that point, we won't cut it out.
Okay.
So the topic that we're speaking.
Yes.
Does a title automatically earn you respect? So in the capacity that traffic officer stands, whether I like him or not, whether I know his business at home, when he stands in his designated position as a traffic officer, are you saying to me, what we're saying right now is that in spite of what I know about him, in spite of what I think about him, he stands in a position of authority. His title as traffic officer, by default, earns him respect?
I want to just make an embellishment on this.
Okay.
I want to say that his function earns the respect.
Okay.
I don't care who the traffic officer is.
Right.
I don't care what they do, in their spare time. I don't care whether that traffic officer is fat or thin, whether they have long hair or short hair, whether they're black or white. I respect traffic officers, the function that person is there to fulfill. I respect that in this context you've given me.
Yes.
I respect that. My boss. I respect my boss, whether my boss is male or female, whether my boss is white or black, older or younger than me. I've chosen to respect my boss because that brings authority. It brings order when you respect authority.
Okay. You said you make a decision. You've made a choice to respect your manager or your boss. I actually don't like the term boss. Where does the term boss come from?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
So,
many people are using the term leader.
Leader. I like that one nicer.
Yeah,
Or what sits better with you?
I used to be a fan of the word leader because leadership is inspirational. Leadership is about, taking people and moving them somewhere, which is great.
Yeah.
Your boss needs to be able to lead you. But the thing about the word boss, and again, this is from a conversation, a debate actually, that happened between my boss and I. Because he said, Keenan, you're the type of guy that likes leading, And I said, yeah. He says, okay, so well, when you do well, what do they say? Yes, you did it like a boss. Or when you're on the soccer field, what do they say? Boss move, man.
Yeah.
When you want to approach the lady and you want to ask for a phone number and you do get the number, say, hey, who's the boss? I'm the boss. So
that title boss, by default, somewhat equals respect. Because people seem to, and this is just, I'm just throwing it out there to ask the question. Do you feel, or do you think society feels that the term boss equates to respect?
Does the term boss equate to respect? I think it does. I think when we refer to ourselves as a boss, we are saying, hey man, respect me. I think, I'm not a fan of quoting rappers because of course we know some famous people that quote some rappers. But there was this rapper, I think his name is, I'm going to get his name completely wrong.
Okay.
But he said, put some respect on my name. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
He said, put some respect on my, he's asking, please see the importance of me right now in this moment.
Yes.
Please recognize who I am, and that's what we say when we say, I'm a boss. Oh, hey, you're a boss, eh? Lady Ray, you're such a boss.
Yeah, so yeah, I think we're going to leave that one with you to determine whether the word boss automatically equates to respect. You can leave your comments and your thoughts about what do you think with regards to what we just spoke about in terms of the word boss automatically equating to respect. And then I have a question.
Okay.
So you teach behavioral skills at PPS, and you've said that respect is a behavioral skill that can be taught because we need to move from desire to being able to apply this.
Yes, out of discipline.
Yes.
Yes.
Somebody comes to you and says, okay, Mr. Paulson, you taught me about respect, but I don't think my boss deserves my respect. He needs to earn it because that's just the order. Respect is earned, it's not deserved. How would you deal with that?
That's such a good question, and I love the practicality of it. I would ask that person, why do they feel that their boss is not worthy of the respect? And they would, what sort of list would they give me? I'm throwing it back at you because it's this hypothetical conversation.
So they're going to say to you, so he comes in, he doesn't greet me, he doesn't say thank you, he doesn't say please, he just thinks that because he's the boss, he can just speak to me anyhow and I must just keep giving. But I'm also a person.
So he doesn't greet you? He doesn't what?
He doesn't say please,
He doesn't say please, he doesn't say thank you.
He just orders me around.
I would say that's quite unfortunate, and we can definitely have that conversation with him. Because at this company, we don't speak about people, we speak to people.
Yeah.
So let's set up a session with you and your boss, and let's bring each other in and say, hey, maybe there's room for you to communicate with this boss of yours and say, I've noticed that when you walked in this morning, you didn't greet me. Now, either I can make an assumption and say, you didn't greet me because you are rude. Or I can say, sure, you had an argument with your wife this morning and your mind is so consumed with that argument and your home and your family life that you were not in the mental space to recognize that I was actually standing right there. Yeah. That's really the role that we play. We play a connecting role. It's not only about learning, but it is about bringing people together. It's about wellness. It's about relationships. That's how I navigate that conversation. So let's say this person says, I'm not feeling respected. I'm not feeling respected at work. We would go into maybe why you're not feeling respected at work. We'd go into asking that person, are they communicating their boundary? Because that's a part of emotional intelligence, being able to assert your boundaries respectfully in order to manage the relationship. But ultimately, you cannot demand respect. That's dictatorship. You will follow me. No. We know that one of the best human drivers is autonomy. Giving someone the choice. Recognizing that, you know what, your boss has got a choice as well. To greet or to not greet. And in that moment, your boss is choosing to not greet. Not because they don't like you, or not because they're this, or not because they're that, but because, have you considered that there's something else on their plate? But I bring this conversation back to the individual and say, you know what, you've got a choice. You've got a choice to respect your boss, whether or not they greet you in the morning. You've got a choice to do your work excellently, because that's really the reason why you were hired and invited to be in this company. Are you willing to perform your task whether or not your boss has greeted you? Respect is one of the things that cause employee engagement and employee performance to go up. So in our leadership sessions with managers, we are advocating for managers, see your people, respect them, reward them, recognize them, affirm them, appreciate them, correct them, have the coaching conversation. And all those recommendations are founded in this idea of what we're speaking today, respect. Yeah.
So Mr. Paulson, you have a very democratic way of dealing with it.
Okay.
So some, and I say some, and I won't mention any names, but I've heard where a boss would say, well, I don't have to respect you, I pay you. That's respect enough. So that's just something I'm throwing out there. Tell me what you think about it. You get those bosses who will just be like, your salary is enough. I don't need to say please. The fact that you have a job is, the fact I don't have to say thank you. I've just said thank you when you get that paycheck in your account. So, as I'm saying, it's very democratic the way you've answered it, but we live in the real world where not everything is dealt that way. We have bosses who say, I have a title, I've been given this position, I went to school for this degree, I know more than you. So you could be sitting on the other side of this conundrum. Tell us what you think. So there's this other statement that I read. When someone in authority says, if you don't respect me, I won't respect you. What they're actually saying and justifying is, if you don't respect me as an authority, I won't respect you as a human being. What do you think about that?
Sure, that's dangerous. That's dangerous to infringe on someone's human right like that. You know, I don't respect you as a human being is what colonialists said about slaves. I don't respect you as a human being. And of course we see, you know, still today the effect of that decision playing out there. So I would say to the person that made that statement to consider very carefully the cost of it. I would also ask that person if they are willing to be on the receiving end of that statement. And if they still say yes, then we need to get their head checked because, you know, it doesn't end well.
So earlier on in the conversation, I asked you to pause on the thought when you spoke about respecting oneself.
Yes.
So the aim of your book, which you say you wrote really long ago, which I think is still very relevant in the now, is to get people to a position of self-actualization and self-awareness. So based on what the aim of your book is, do you believe that in order for me or for anyone to be able to truly respect somebody else, they need to be in a position of self-awareness, self-actualization, self-respect? Because if you don't know how to respect yourself, how do you respect somebody else? You spoke a little bit about that earlier on.
Absolutely.
Let's just delve into that.
Well, I cannot offer you anything that I do not have. I can't give you anything that I don't have myself.
Yes.
And I learned this phrase this last week, to scarf up. And I think it's so beautiful now that we're heading into the cold season.
Yes.
So to scarf up means that I have got control over my scarf. Nobody can take my scarf away from me. I've got full control over my scarf. And part of having control over your scarf is the ability to then give it away to someone and say, I see you don't have a scarf. Let me help you. You know. So I don't think it's possible for someone to truly and sincerely show respect if they don't have it for themselves. I think we're seeing it on social media. I think we're seeing it in young girls sending boys nude pictures. There's a transaction that's happening here, and that young girl really wants a sense of status, a sense of respect, a sense of love. She wants something from that boy, and she thinks giving this scarf away is going to get it, you know, from him. I think we see it. We see it in any, you know. I mean, there's so many different contexts that we could paint this picture in. But this idea of first respecting you, and first having this position of self-love and self-honor, and saying, I am a dignified human being, and the right thing for me to do is to then, you know, show respect. I don't think it's from a position of weakness.
Yes.
I want to please. Oh, if you don't, then I'm less than. I think it's, I understand my self-respect. I understand who I am. And because I know I am powerful and I am not infringing on your power in any way, I can extend and I can give.
So I think if we latch on to scarfing up, as you've said.
Not my term, by the way.
Somebody's term that we've taken to use on the show. If we latch onto that and we understand the potential power there is in self-respect, one may not even have to have the conversation as to whether a title automatically earns you respect. Because as humans, and this is just something I'm throwing out there, if we can understand our worth and respect ourselves, we actually won't have any issues respecting somebody else. Not sure if you agree, just a thought. And before I say goodnight and say bye to our viewers, what is the one thought you'd like our viewers to take away with regards to respect?
I'd like every single viewer to know that every single person on this planet, as Dale Carnegie says, has the need to feel important. We all want to feel important. I want to feel important. You want to feel important. Everybody on the planet wants and has this need. You've got the power and the ability to extend that to someone. You've got the power and the ability to influence them by showing them just how important they are to you. Nobody can demand respect from you. Respect is given. And how powerful it is when it's given from a position of power and understanding of who you are and what you bring to the table and your authentic uniqueness. So here's an invitation. I want to invite all of you to go on a journey of self-discovery. Ask yourself questions like, why was I created? And why do I exist? And what are my values? And what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What drives me? When we know the answers to these questions, we are in a position of power where we can then go and extend. I want to quote Stephen Covey in closing, where he speaks about trust, but I think it's true for respect as well. He says about trust that trust cannot be built from a position of skepticism. It must be built from a predisposition of trust. And I want to say the same about respect. You can't build respect from a position of disrespect. You have to get on the plane of respect first in order to build it back up again. So if you have disrespected anybody, saying sorry is great, it's a great start. But I want to say, get back on the plane of respect. If you've disrespected somebody, go back to them and start showing them respect. And one of the first ways that you can do that is by speaking words of respect. The next thing you can do is start showing acts of respect. I want to say something about Lady Ray in this moment here. I have asked her many times, please call me Keenan. But the respect levels that she wants to give continuously is so high that she can't get herself to do that. And I love that. I think it's so beautiful that she's made up her mind to continue to respect all her guests and no matter who she meets. Lady Ray, if I may just say in closing to you and your entire team, congratulations on the show. I saw excellence and I continue to see excellence all around. It inspires me. I think you've brought out the best in me today. And I just want to say thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for having come and accepted the invitation. It's really been a pleasure to have this conversation with you. If, like me, you enjoyed this conversation, I'm going to ask you to please leave your comments and your likes. I know you know somebody who needs to hear this conversation. Please share the link. If you want to stay up to date with what's happening on the channel, click the notifications icon. And be sure to subscribe. Before I say goodnight, I'm going to leave you with this message that Jason Kotke says, never trust anyone who treats restaurant servers like feces, because what they're really doing is abusing their authority as a paying customer to treat another person as subhuman. Agree? Disagree? Share your thoughts. Share the link. Let's get everybody having real conversations, asking real questions, and dealing with the real answers that will come from within themselves. Good night, and be sure to join me next week for real conversations, real questions, and real answers. Coming up in the next episode of Let's Get Real with Lady Ray, we'll be having a conversation with Mrs. Antoinette Sitole, speaking about the possibility of reverse racism. Be sure to join me next week.